Hello, class. Today I'll be talking about the Richard Nixon administration, and I'll be evaluating that. So here's some fun facts that you might want to know. He was elected in January 20th. I believe it was 1968, and he quickly became a rising star, and he was known as a silent mover. He has one of the most complex stories known. He was raised in a small town. His parents owned a business, and he didn't have a lot of financial riches, or I don't think he was financially rich. But with that said, he had no advantages, and he was known to read books during his free time. So he was a very smart man, and that's how he escaped reality. He also got accepted into Harvard, but did not go because his parents couldn't afford it. And the college that he did go to, he was the first, or he graduated first in his class as one of the first. So genuinely just a very smart guy. He went from becoming a Navy lieutenant and moving on after the serving for the Navy, he went on to be a part of the Senate, and he was encouraged to be Congress. And from there is where he gained his Republic respects. He was known as an aggressive person, he was known for having aggressive tactics, and that was just his thing. That's what made him known for who he is. But also his aggressive tactics and secrecy led him to his downfall. So the first thing I would like to go over that he did with his administration during his administration was he met with relations with China. He visited Chairman Mao Zedong, and because of that, it changed the diplomatic relationships between China and other countries, and it just changed the perspective on how people see the U.S. for global power. Pretty strong, and that was all during. It was strategic, and it helped the positioning during the Cold War. So that was one of the biggest things, and to this day, because of him, our relations are all right with other countries. China. He was also known for the Vietnamization, and aim for getting the troops out of Vietnam, which he was successful with for what he could. And he was also known for putting it to a close. And he signed in 1973. He signed the Paris Peace Accords. So that was a big deal, especially during his time when you consider that everything was so crazy. Inflation, civil rights, people were rioting, all that types of stuff. So the fact that he is even able to just do that alone was smart enough. He also was a part. He signed the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, the SALT Treaty, with the Soviet Union. It was the first major arms control agreement ever. It limited nuclear weapons, and and then the tensions were eased for the Cold War after that. And because of that, I'm sure there's nuclear weapons that people haven't seen because of his smarts, and that's a good thing. I'm very grateful for that. Because of that, it lasts till this day. Another thing was the Environmental Protection Agency. It was a significant environmental legislation. It included the Clear Air Act, and he cared a lot for the environment. He was known as the last thinking conscious person after Teddy Roosevelt for the environment. He set a lot of standards for air, water, and soil pollution. I don't want to stay on that too much, but because of that, we have a lot more standards for things of that sort, and it keeps us a lot healthier. He also declared a war on drugs. He said it was the people's #1 problem, and he implemented a stricter drug enforcement, and he established the Drug Enforcement Administration. And I think that's another thing that affects today as well, because people abuse drugs, and there's ways to go about it to be handled and get people the help that they need. But then that leads to what he's known for was the Watergate incident. So basically, it was just tapes and things like that he denied at first, and it was illegal, and it was abusing his powers behind doors. And presidents are usually known to have integrity and things like that, and because of that, it raised a lot of questions. And what became a little incident became a big incident, and then sure enough, it all backtracked to his administration and then himself. And because of that, it made them want to impeach him. And after that, he just decided to resign. And because of the situation, it caused the U.S. to have a lot of distrust in the government. And it was a way for people to realize that the president should not be, or is not above the law. And basically, that's how we run checks and balances nowadays, because of him, and people are really on top of that. And most importantly, it just created a distrust to this day, and because of him, that exists. Other than that, he was a pretty good president, I would say, and I enjoyed the things that he did. Like I said, they still affect today, so that's a good thing. But yeah, that's basically Richard Nixon for you. One of the most complex stories ever known, and there will probably never ever be another one like it. Thank you, guys.